I'm taking photos for the cover.
You're taking photos for the cover.
Why don't you come take a picture with me?
Take a picture with you?
Yes.
No, you take a picture with me.
I'm the star here.
Okay, then.
Look at mine.
How's that?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That might have to be the cover then. One more.
One more.
We
Sit
keep
back.
this-
Sit back. Relax.
But I have to hit the button.
Oh. There you go.
I'm totally using the other one. Okay, we look cute. That's cute.
Where are we sitting? What are we doing? Hi guys, we're professional. We get things set up before we start recording.
I do. This one, you like to show all of it.
This is the authenticity of what we
Find the
do.
live though. Somehow I lost the live. I'm on stories. Oops.
Oh my goodness.
Don't post.
Good morning, everybody. What's up, Karen? You see, but you can't see. Oh, you can't. That's because she's doing her thing over here. She's setting up.
Setting up.
She's still setting up.
I have to find live. I've lost live. This is now on stories.
Go back.
Don't know how to. When I go back, it just
Click
goes
on
there.
start. Click on that. The button, the plus.
Oh, I was going
And
to the
then
left.
scroll over.
Oh, I see. Live. Got it. You'd think I would know these things by now.
Like you're on Instagram 8 hours a day.
I'm not going live though. I'm not on Instagram that often anymore. Like you know. You post more than I do. I'm in my Facebook group. I am in my app.
Oh,
Instagram is the stepchild these days, unfortunately. Okay.
Okay. When you sit back, you probably need to turn this that way a little bit, get you more in. Good, good, good. Hey, everybody, what's going on?
What up,
Get
fam?
all the right stuffs.
Yes. I'm taking
Snowy in Wisconsin and getting frigid cold. Ooh, glad that's not happening here.
It was
It's cold,
clear and now it's raining.
But
It was really raining a lot.
it's still kind of
yesterday.
cloudy.
Still kind of cloudy a little bit.
Yeah, the last couple weeks have been a lot of rain. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, fam.
What's up, everybody?
Passing
Happy
on.
Saturday morning. How
Cheers
y'all
to the
doing?
weekend.
This is not coffee.
Yes, it is.
Well, there's coffee in it, but not the same as what I usually drink. You're
So-
drinking what I usually drink, right? Are you drinking my coffee?
We should talk about how we've both changed our coffee routine.
She's actually drinking real coffee from now on.
It's
not
not
that
that I
fake-
didn't
not that fake
drink
crap you were
real
drinking before.
coffee before.
She did not drink real coffee.
I was drinking flavored coffee. It was coffee, but it had flavor.
Is flavored
in it.
coffee real coffee?
Yes, they just add deliciousness
But
to
is
it.
it real coffee?
Yes.
Are you getting the real coffee experience?
So I have switched. Actually, so I'm mixing his coffee, which
She likes mixed.
it's a really good. This is literally all the time, all the time. This is how it goes down around here. I do like mixed.
See, I cleaned my lid and now it keeps closing on me because it's not.
He doesn't
I tried
like
to
it when
drink
I
it.
clean
Don't clean my coffee lid.
anything that he eats and
I
drinks.
can't drink out of it now. It keeps closing
Like
every
it
time I
when
try
I
to
clean
drink.
his plates and his forks that he wants to use again, or
So okay, we're totally
we are
segueing.
going all over.
So
the place.
I take the whole mentality of I don't see why you need to make your bed in the morning because you're just going to get back into it in 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever.
Because if we did it your way, we would be sleeping in bunched up.
No, you straighten it out again.
ass
You straighten it out before you go to bed, but you don't need to make your bed. But I do the same thing with food items,
with
utensils
and
plates. Like if I make eggs in the morning, if I get up in the morning, my first meal of the day, whatever it is, let's say I make some eggs. I make some eggs, I put them on a plate, eat the eggs. I just put the plate on the counter. I know in 4 hours I'm gonna make something else, so I just use the same plate.
although he ends up forgetting every single time.
Not every
and
time.
And then
it's no. So that's only if I make something that I need a bowl for, and then I get a bowl.
At the end of the night, the plate is still there, and then
I put it in the.
No.
You or I put it in there too. I do too. Yes, I do.
Sometimes you do. Yes, sometimes you do. Usually,
then it gets washed.
It irks me before he does it, and then I just do it.
Everybody's freaking out.
Right? Oh, tell them about your pots and pans.
Oh, I don't think I wash my frying pan once every couple weeks.
And then when I put it in the dishwasher or I wash it, he gets mad at me for it.
I don't get mad at you for that.
Why did you wash my pan?
No, it's just because then I don't know where it went.
Right. Y'all know this,
If
right?
it's not there, where is it? Where else is it going to be?
Y'all know how men don't know where to find it unless it's right in front of their face, exactly where they put it every time. If it's 2 inches to the left, they're not going to find it.
Remember that lady on TikTok or Facebook or whatever she did?
It was awesome.
She literally just
how to get back at your husband.
Like moved it 2 things over.
There was a trend going around for a little while that was like, how to make your husband talk to you when he won't talk to you. And
you
move all his stuff like around a little bit, and then he has to ask you where it is. Works every time.
Gosh. Yep. So, all right, so what are you drinking now?
Let's just talk about how mortified my mom was when she discovered that you don't wash your pots and pans.
Oh my God, the first time I met her parents. Yeah, I just left the pan out.
And at first she would just wash it.
And also the fact that I use a spoon for everything.
And she was thinking you're just leaving things for her to wash. And then I explained to her, no, this is actually what he does. just leave it. Don't wash it. And then she was like, the look of horror on her face. She's like, is this what he does at home?
He just leaves it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My gosh. It was a paradigm shifting, world altering her life.
And that I use spoons for everything.
Mary Grace said, y'all are cracking me up today.
I'm crying right now. Oh man.
It's been a good time the last couple of years. So Bubbles is saying, Karen's saying, make your bed, Bronson.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to.
That's what dishwashers are for.
I cannot go.
She can't go the day without it. She's got that in her.
Every so often, like today, Saturday, slept in, Bronson slept in. Usually he'll be up with me or around the same time, so I'll make the bed. But on a day like today, I'm like, okay, I'll leave it for now, but I will.
Eventually she'll go in there and make it.
It's going to bother me. All right, so let's get back to the coffee.
So what are you drinking differently than what you normally drink?
So first,
Your calf looks really good right now.
No longer. I've been actually doing calf raises for the first time in a long time.
Guys, this woman's calves.
You can see it on my Instagram.
They make my heart skip a beat.
Oh, there you go. Shout out to my dad for the Grasso calves. We build calves very easily in this family.
Thanks, Dad.
Italian genes. So, okay, so for my coffee, what I am doing, I switched from flavored coffees. I weaned off of them there's an amazing coffee company called Copper Cow Coffee, and they have coffee that is not flavored with like artificial flavors or even natural flavors, but they just add cinnamon to their coffee, and that's their churro flavor. And then they add real vanilla bean, and that's for their vanilla coffee.
So it's not the fake flavors that you were doing, like blueberry coffee.
Right. Yeah. It's not artificial or so-called natural flavors being added to the coffee. It's natural things like vanilla or cinnamon. They have a pumpkin spice that has ginger and that kind of thing. So I first moved to them, and then I took it out entirely and just went straight regular coffee. But also I'm switching. So I'm using his, which is it's a really good coffee roaster.
Sorry to interrupt.
Greenberry coffee?
I forget what it is, but pretty much any coffee that I drink, if it's going to be coffee, is going to be as dark roast as you can get.
Yeah. And I now am caring more about the quality of the coffee, so I'm looking at who it's from, where it's from, that kind of. So it's a small batch.
Right.
It's a really good roaster.
And we've also started we got a grinder, so we actually started getting whole bean, and we grind it ourselves now. We don't usually get pre-ground stuff anymore. Especially after that TikTok the other day.
Oh, we should talk about
with
that.
the 10% cockroaches in pre-ground coffee. So if you're getting pre-ground coffee, it's very likely that there's up to 10% cockroaches in your coffee.
And
FYI.
probably
And probably other stuff.
Probably more likely to have mold and things
Mold
like
and
that,
other
right?
stuff, right? Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm doing is mostly I've switched to this half calf from Four Sigmatic, which is a mushroom. They do like these mushroom coffees, so it's an adaptogen coffee. This one has ashwagandha and eleuthero adaptogens in
You're doing
it,
shrooms.
along with chaga and tulsi
Chaga.
extract. So this is supposed to be really good for better for your adrenals because it's adding those adrenal supplements to the coffee. Ashwagandha is also good for testosterone, which we've talked about on past, right? So this is what I mainly do, and it's half caffeine. So I'm mixing this with Bronson's, which is the dark roast full caffeine.
Dark roast full caffeine, yeah.
I'm moving away from, and then eventually want to move to full half calf and then decaf, and then have a period of time where I go lie in and take the coffee out entirely.
Right.
So I'm weaning.
God bless you.
Now I'm still doing coconut-based creamers in my coffee. So this is the one non-carnivore thing I've been consuming, which is the coffee is not carnivore. It is from a plant. And I am not good with dairy. My system does not work well with dairy. So I use the full-fat coconut milk in the can, so it doesn't have all the additives that you get from the carton ones. And I still am using my nut pods, which does have some almonds and guar gum stabilizer in them.
You'll take out a little
So
bit.
I will take that out next and move just to the coconut, full-fat coconut milk, and then wean off that as well.
Okay. Cool.
So that's for me. For
And
you,
what I'm doing differently, so here's the reason for this. And I've done this in the past, and it hasn't lasted long because I like coffee. And that is trying to experiment with things, much like her, in how can I get my testosterone up. So my total testosterone is fine. It's in the 700 plus range, which is great for being 50 years old. My free testosterone could be higher. So one of the things I'm looking to do is wean off the coffee as well. But I've tried this in the past. It's lasted like a week. I think I might have gone 10 days once.
when we did Lion, did you go the whole 21? Or
No.
You might have quit after 2 weeks.
I think the coffee was the first thing.
The coffee.
Right. Yeah. And for me, it's something about the routine and the flavor of the coffee. Because I can keep the routine that I normally do, right?
Ritual.
Do whatever, the ritual of getting up, doing my thing in the day, getting a hot chocolate or doing a tea or doing something else. It's just not this. It just doesn't hit the same. Like it's the coffee smell and flavor and there's just something different. So luckily,
Our buddies
Equip Prime Protein came out with an iced coffee flavor protein powder, which is not just like a cup of coffee, but there is enough coffee. There is coffee in it. There is coffee in it.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near like it's trace amounts compared to me doing a giant one of these things in the morning.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. He never measured his coffee out. So
I don't measure I just pour a bunch of coffee in.
A whole bunch in.
I started measuring. After we met Noah, I started measuring.
You did?
4 scoops.
Okay.
For a thing.
Okay.
But it's the amount of coffee changing to that is going to significantly decrease my overall coffee intake and increase my protein intake, which is a double whammy.
There you go.
Right? So
yeah.
to increase my protein, I do 2 scoops in one of these giant tumbler thingies with hot water and salty, either the Coco Loco or
Caramel Vibe.
Caramel Vibe, that's the other one.
Chocolate caramel.
In here, so it's fantastic.
So electrolytes. That's the other thing I add to my.
I've been able to actually not make a cup of coffee all week because I've just had the iced coffee protein in the morning instead. And it hits just as good. I feel like I'm getting my morning fix.
By the way,
That's
guys,
awesome.
if you are watching us live right now,
Oh, yeah.
today is Saturday the 13th.
Is it?
The 13th. And through today, just through the rest of today, Equip is doing their first sale of the year. You can use my promo code, Natalie G Stack. Stack. To get up to 22% off. Basically, you spend $160, which is easy to do because these are not cheap. You get like 2 or 3 bags and you'll be there.
Yep.
Although you can do any of their supplements, they're calling it a build your own stack sale. So
Ooh,
you
okay.
spend $160 and you get $35 off, and that's 22%. So if you are wanting to try it or you are in need of some more, now is a great time to stock up using my code. And you can find that on my Instagram at the Keto Bikini Pro. I posted it yesterday and in my stories.
Karen had your carnivore cereal this morning.
That was also in the post if you want my recipe for my carnivore protein
And she's
cereal.
making meatloaf right now.
Ooh, I might need her
At
recipe.
10:30
Karen
in the
is
morning?
a great cook.
Yeah. Let's see.
There was a good question Deb Tasker was asking.
Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's see who's on, first of all. Okay, so Deb is on. Purple Love and Nana's on. Snowy,
That's
Snowy. Debbie. Lady Fritzader. You're vertical. We are vertical. Is that why? Do I normally go sideways for these?
You probably do on your YouTube. Are you live on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably do.
I don't feel like I do. I don't remember. It makes it, if I want to cut something up and put it somewhere, it makes it easier if it's like this already. Make your bed, Bronson. Let's see. Is it all right to have multiple cups of coffee if decaf? I just love drinking coffee. I have cut down the caffeinated coffee.
Okay, here's where both of us would probably go with this question. What is all right? Why would it not be all right for you? We always like to push back, right? It's not about what we're doing or what anybody else is doing. Why would you think it's not all right?
Right.
You know, what's making you ask
Have
that
you ever
question?
tried not doing it?
Yeah, is there a reason why you're avoiding caffeine?
Yeah. I mean, I would say in general, it's probably going to be better for you to go decaf versus getting a ton of caffeine all day long if you're doing a bunch of it.
I will tell you, up to 3 cups of coffee a day actually can have health benefits. Yeah. There's a lot of studies that have been done on coffee and its benefits. And this is interesting because Karen had asked this in my Facebook group about the benefits of coffee for pre-workout. And I came from a background with ketogains, and they highly encourage
it for that,
coffee for training, and not just for the caffeine. There's benefits from the caffeine, and there's benefits from the coffee itself. Here's the thing with decaf. I'm going to move this closer to you so you can look at this. Look
like you're looking at the same thing.
So with decaf, the processing of decaf can also have detract from
it's
the benefits
additional
of the
processing,
coffee.
right? Yeah.
So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of the caffeine versus the decaf coffee.
Like you can't get whole bean decaf, can you?
I think you can.
What do they do to that? What do they do to make things deep? We should look into that.
I did a long time ago when I was
like
really into the paleo stuff. I was into like getting into the weeds on all that, and it's been a while since I have.
How do they actually make
but
decaf?
Yeah, I know that they have to process it differently, and so it can take some of the health benefits away from the coffee itself.
Right.
So it's kind of a toss-up of, decaf doesn't necessarily mean it's healthier.
Right. Anytime.
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, anytime the question of is something all right or is this right or wrong enters your mind, stop and ask yourself,
why am I
how is it working?
Yeah.
Is it harming me? Is it helping me? Is it preventing my progress? Could it be a reason I'm stalled? Whatever it is, like it's only right or wrong if it's not helping you or if it's hurting you.
Right, so and you have to apply it to your context.
Exactly.
So why is it not healthy, right? Because she followed up with, I have heard that caffeine is not the best for you. That's very general. What does that mean? What have you heard specifically?
And are you seeing those things? Is
there something that pertains to you that you've heard that sounds like, oh, this would be a reason for me to not do this or to change what I'm doing?
Right, well, I'll use myself as an example. Well, you too, right? I mean, we haven't talked about specifically why you're trying to go decaffeinated. I'm trying to cut back on coffee in general, specifically because of some of the things I've read about how coffee can impact your body's ability to produce and utilize and have testosterone and you make use of testosterone. So in an effort to try and increase it's a very specific goal. I'm not doing it for anything else. I'm not doing it because I feel like I overconsume it. I'm not doing it because I have energy issues and I'm trying to restore my own natural energy processes or any of that kind of stuff, or any other hormone things, or cortisol or thyroid or adrenal, none of that stuff. I'm doing it specifically because I want to see if cutting back helps me with my testosterone. So I actually have, which I need to print out today and schedule, I got my lab order from Owner Labs. So I'll be getting lab tests probably this week, if I can get it scheduled this week. So we'll be starting. It's been just under a week that I've been doing no coffee. I'll get my lab tests, do it for a couple months or a month or so and see what happens. So very specific.
And for me, same thing with testosterone. Eventually, I do want to take the coffee out entirely and see if it makes a difference with my testosterone numbers. But the main reason I'm switching to half calf and then decaf on my way is because of withdrawal. If you take coffee out immediately, you might have headaches. You might have all of these transitions with just removing the caffeine overnight.
Yeah.
And so I know eventually I want to take the coffee out for the test for test. But leading up to that, I don't want to do it overnight because I don't want to be now dealing with that on top of I went carnivore. I'm dealing with the shift in microbiome.
Managing your stress, right?
And so one thing at a time and then easing off so that I hopefully don't have those symptoms of caffeine withdrawal at all. And that's how I did it when we did Lion. I weaned off of it so that it wouldn't be, now I'm dealing with that and I'm having confounding variables to determine whether Lion was working for me or not. So when I like to change things, I always tell people, like, if you're trying a supplement, don't change anything else you're doing. Just try adding that supplement and see. That way you can really tell if your body is reacting or if you're getting a benefit from it. But if you're changing a bunch of things at once, you're not going to be able to know what is benefiting you and what might be causing symptoms and things of that nature.
Exactly. Okay. Do you have anybody that said anything on yours? Or I thought I saw a couple.
I know that Mary Grace mentioned, I'm drinking the 4 Sigmatic half calf right now too, weaning myself off the caffeine for Grace and Grind, the Grace and Grind challenge. And for her, I know thyroid is one of her things. She's been managing her thyroid meds. And so I think that's part of it. Here's the thing. If you have anxiety, if you struggle with anxiety disorders, caffeine will exacerbate that. So there are this is why it's really important to understand your own context and apply it to the situation. And then you can do research on coffee and caffeine for your specific situation. And you'll be able to pull up studies and articles that tell you specifically for why you might be concerned about coffee.
I'm going to give you a secret that if you can develop will be your secret superpower that will take you to levels you've never thought possible. Okay?
I think I know what you're going to say.
Develop a highly intense sense of curiosity.
Ooh, I love that.
Okay?
I love the way you said that.
We both together, if you knew how often we were Googling things, anytime something flashes across our face, I have no idea what that is, let's Google it. Immediately, we've developed a habit where if something is presented to us that we don't know or understand, our first instinct is to look it up and learn more. That doesn't mean there have been times where that's happened and then an hour later, we're still talking about it or looking at it. But a lot of times is we get a quick answer and then, okay, bang, boom, move on. But in other cases, it may lead us to taking a note down about something that we go back to and look at later or whatever else, or here's a podcast I want to listen to, or things like that. So the more you can develop that sense of curiosity, the more you will improve your ability to make better choices because you will have more information that is more accurate and applicable to your context.
Yes.
So develop a sense of curiosity, don't be afraid to just look it up and see what you find out there.
Yes.
Right? And if something doesn't make sense, ask somebody, talk to somebody. Hey, I just read this. I thought it was this. It's this. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand compared to what someone else is saying. Right? If you have access to us, if you're working with us in our programs, that's what we're here for.
Clients do that.
We love it when people are looking up stuff and asking questions in our groups and things like that. So be more curious. That's it's a huge thing.
And along that same line, develop your ability to discern where you're getting the information from and if it's reputable. So the more you look things up, the more you'll start to discover these things. If I can tell you immediately, the first things that are going to come up when you Google something, Healthline and some of these other
WebMD.
Yes. That's not necessarily going to be the best
Harvard
place
Health
to go. Sometimes the Harvard Health has good stuff.
But the Harvard Health is so contradictory. You read one article,
right,
and then the very next article says the exact opposite of the one.
I will say Cleveland Clinic will come up, and usually there's some good stuff from them. Or you don't like it.
I think Harvard Health, Cleveland Clinic, I think all of them.
I mean, they're all mainstream.
You have to heavily filter.
They're all mainstream.
Yeah.
But what is amazing when you start, and if you start looking it up and say it with the word study or scientific study or something like that, you will start getting PubMed articles pulling up.
Right.
And at least then you have studies that will pull up that you can click on. Now, here's the thing: don't just take the headline from a study. If nothing else,
at least read the abstract.
Well, do this before you even do that. Go on YouTube and look up how to understand or how to analyze a study.
How to read and understand a study. Yeah.
And then you'll be able to also look at a study in a way that you know how to question whether that study is a good one or not, something that you can really listen to or not. Meta-analyses are the gold standard because they are studies of studies.
Yeah.
And so there may be some not so great studies in there, but you're also going to have good studies in there, and the large groupings of them that they are comparing to come to their conclusions are going to be better than cherry picking a study here and there.
Yeah.
So,
but just in general, being able to get information and understand what's going to work is a skill that you have to practice. So and this is something we see every day, if your default is to say, oh, I heard this, let me go ask somebody, that is not helping you.
take the next step.
Take the step, take the ownership of your journey and the ownership of your own knowledge about yourself and where you're trying to go, and go look it up. Spend 30 minutes trying to find some more information and dig into so-and-so said X, Y, or Z. Okay, great. Wonder why they would have said that. What could they possibly have seen that would have made them say that? And try to find something, right? At least put some effort in. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, the faster it's going to be. You're going to find information more quickly. You're going to be able to look at information and discern if it's applicable or not faster. Like, you just got to build that up and keep doing it. So
yeah, and then you can go to those trusted advisors and say, here's what I found. What are your thoughts on this?
Right.
Or I found this and it conflicts with this. What do you think? You know, you can take that next step and then still get help with it if you need to.
It's a lot easier for us as coaches to answer a question from a client who's already done some of the legwork. Because if someone comes to us and says, hey, so-and-so said this, I don't know what context that person was talking about, what that video is. Like, then I have to go watch the video, figure out where they're getting their information from,
time on it.
and then go do all this stuff. Now, if you did that and came to us and said, hey, I listened to so-and-so, they said this, I think they're talking about this thing, I saw this article over here, I did a little bit of search and I found this reference to what they're talking about. That helps us so much more in being able to answer your question with a little bit more applicability than just a random video or something.
And actually this gets to what I've been talking about in Grace and Grind, which is one of our 5 areas we're focusing on is personal development. So I'm asking my ladies to challenge themselves to learn something every day. Could be anything in any area that develops you. So learn something. What does it mean to learn something? You can't explain it to somebody else. If you cannot explain what you read or watched or learned somewhere to someone else, you haven't learned it.
Yep.
So if you say, I heard this is good or I heard this is bad.
Why?
Did you learn, where did you hear it? And what did they say about it?
Right.
If you can't at least say those two things,
Right.
then you didn't retain the information.
Or it sounded good because you were, okay, this is another trap, right? Where I think it prevents people from even wanting to learn because it's the authority trap, right? So-and-so is an authority, so they said it, so it must be true.
Yep.
I don't need to know it because so-and-so said it.
And also, yes, and I'll take this is totally me. I don't like to get into all of the mechanisms.
She
and
falls
the
asleep.
science,
She
right?
falls asleep whenever I
He
start
loves
talking about
that.
stuff.
I like 10,000 foot view. Give me the cliff notes, right? But if I can't then tell somebody why I believe this is good or bad for them to do, then that's not going to help anyone, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, sure, I have clients who would just do it because Coach Nat says so, but I don't want them to be that kind of a client.
Well, from our perspective, we're also trying to educate our people.
Right.
We want them to know why as well. Like if we can't explain why, then we shouldn't be.
So I
telling them
have
do
to
it,
at
so.
least go deep enough that I can explain it.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
all right.
That was a nice little tangent.
What else did we want to talk about today?
We
We
wanted
had
to
a
talk
couple of
about
other big topics.
So we were talking about ourselves. So let's keep that up and talk about what we changed. We stopped.
What we changed and how we changed it and why.
Okay, so
Let's start
we started walking in the morning,
6 a.m.
getting up at 6
a.m.
o'clock in the
wake
morning.
up, probably like 6:30.
6:30 start walking. Yeah.
30-minute walk.
30-minute walk. And we were doing YouTube lives. And then we stopped that because in the place we were doing it in our workout area, fitness area upstairs.
Where we live, so our neighbors.
Yes, because we were trying to be considerate neighbors, we had someone complain about recording in the fitness area without asking permission.
They didn't feel comfortable.
And we don't know, we have no idea who's ever going to be there at any given time when we're there. Sometimes it's the same people, sometimes there's new people we've never seen before.
And there have been more and more people now.
And now that the New Year's are up, there's more people. So we just figured, okay, maybe recording up here or doing this isn't worth it. So that's why if you've been looking for our morning walks, you haven't been seeing them on YouTube. That's number one. Number two, we did it for like 2 weeks. And then I don't know what happened for me, but I had like a phase where I could not get enough sleep. I don't know if the workouts, I was about 5 weeks into a new workout program, if it was just building up and my body was like, hey, you need to chill out.
You need recovery.
I don't know what was going on, but I was going to bed and sleeping like a rock and trying to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I did it for a few times, but then there was one night where it was like, well, there was it started the first night, I couldn't get to sleep. Right. It was weird. Like I've been sleeping like a rock, and then for one night, for some reason, I just could not get to sleep till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then it was like, okay, I'm not getting up at 6 o'clock to go do this. And then another day, I had to be at the office at like 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So there was a couple things the other week. So for me, I think getting up that early, just getting up at 7 o'clock. Now, here's the thing. If I didn't have a job, I would get up at 7 o'clock and I'd go for a walk. But I have a job. So I have to get up at 7 and then start getting ready to go to work.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's more just realizing that, making that change while it seemed like a good idea, doing it actually felt like it was not the walking. I think for me, just losing that hour of sleep. Yep. Just totally.
That is so key too.
Just like, totally screwed me
How
up.
many times I get asked, okay, I'm trying to get up earlier to do my workout. I'm exhausted. I'm not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
You know,
it totally.
What should I do to make sure I can do my workout? I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleep instead.
Find a different time to work out.
Another time, yeah, because it's not worth. The number one thing for your health, period,
is going to be sleep.
Is sleep. If you're not getting sleep, no fat loss is going to happen, muscle gain is not going to happen. All the things you're trying to make to improve your health and your life will not happen. So that has to be sacred. So
it's harder to balance your hormones. Your hormone management is just jacked.
All of your body systems are not going to work as well when you're not
sleeping. So for me, I think there's some other changes that we can talk about in another video as far as what my workout programs are going to be. But for me, I'm going to be making some changes in my programming that I'm doing personally that's going to increase some of the conditioning and stuff that I'm doing. So the effect that walking was going to have on anything is going to happen in my workouts. But I definitely think that I can tell you just the 1 week, this last week of doing it, I have felt so much better. So much.
So there's your validation right there.
It's ridiculous.
Is if you're wondering if you need to change something and you're not feeling great, there's something not
1 hour.
Not at 100%, not optimized. This is what he had to do to change it, and now he's feeling a huge difference. So
that's me.
That's the other thing about not doing things arbitrarily. Like, oh, so-and-so says you need to get up and cold plunge. And like, yeah, but is that benefiting you or is it not? So that's why he's changed his
so habit. She's still getting up.
I'm still getting up.
Because she doesn't have to report to a job.
I report
in the morning.
Me.
She reports to herself.
So for me, when he made that shift, I think it was one of the first days, or no, maybe it was after a few days, and I was tired, and we both slept in a little later. I got up like maybe 6:30 or 7 and still went up and walked.
It was like 7. It was like 7 because you were like, when I got up, you came down, you were like, you were out.
Oh, that was the day. Yeah, that was that day. So I've been still doing my walk, but getting up a little bit later, 30 minutes or an hour later, it has made a huge difference. Also, it was tough to get in bed early enough to make the 6 a.m. really work, for a good solid 8-hour time block for sleep. So it's so much easier to go to bed at 10:30. It's comfortable. So now we're both kind of on that 10:30, 7 a.m. wake up.
Yeah.
I've cut my walks a little bit shorter. It's like 20 minutes, depending on the day. If I'm really into like watching a video or something and I'm distracted, then maybe it'll be 30. But instead of like having this arbitrary 30-minute thing, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it out. 20 minutes, 25, 30, different days of the week. Also, after a while, I started to notice my recovery from my leg days was taking longer. And when we're doing the walks, I might swap it out with, a couple days I swapped it out, once with elliptical, once with bike, but that's all leg focus. It's all lower body. So I switched to a little bit shorter, doing the walks, but really light. Like, it's not a cardio workout. I'm not getting up doing sprinting, jogging, running, or even walking briskly. My heart rate is like 110, 120 at the most.
Yeah, barely zone 1.
Which is, super, super low. It's just kind of like if I was taking a leisurely walk outside. Now, when it gets nice out, like in the spring, I think we're both going to want to get up and take a walk outside in the morning. I love that. I love seeing the sun. I don't love walking on a treadmill. So that's what I've been doing lately. And then Friday, I just didn't have it. So I just didn't do it. It was like, I'm exhausted. My body's tired. Friday yesterday. And it was leg day. And I was like, okay, instead of getting up anyway and doing this walk arbitrarily, I'm going to save that energy and save my legs for leg day so I can get a good session in. Mm-hmm. So I do think that doing the leg intensive stuff, even if it is very light, every day of the week or 5 days a week, when I'm also trying to train legs hard twice a week, not ideal. So I'll be altering my schedule to either just lighten how much of it I'm doing, or maybe not do it on leg days. So that's kind of what I'll be
figure out what the right combo is. Yeah.
You got some new questions, I think.
Got some questions. All right. Type 1 diabetic, Jennifer Matthew. Hey, Jennifer. Type 1 diabetic, carnivore, ketovore, 6 years, using hand and leg weights on mini trampoline, squat machine. I'm guessing that should be a comma. Also, 5-mile walks, 68 female, back and hip surgery. Is this enough? Enough for what?
Yeah,
That's the question. What's the goal? What's the goal? I would tell you, I'm hoping you're not doing 5 miles every day. That would be the first thing that stands out to me in this. And so if this is a typical thing, it's very likely that this might be every day. And if this is every day, then I would say
I don't
that's
know.
too
I don't
much.
know. We would need to know how much time you're spending on each of these things, how frequently throughout the week.
Yeah. Are you going heavy on the weights? Oh no. So hand and leg weights on the trampoline. Okay. So you're on a trampoline with the.
Right. I would want to know how many minutes are you doing that?
Yeah.
How much are you doing on the squat machine? How many times a week? How much time is it taking you?
Yeah.
How often are you doing these 5-mile walks?
But in general, I would
what is the order
say
in which you're doing everything? There's a lot of
keeping it at a high level.
involved.
I would say if the goal is to improve your metabolism and help your insulin management and blood glucose management, your goal should be to build muscle. And the more things you are doing that are cardio based, the less muscle you're going to build.
Yep.
Okay, so, and if you are doing things more than probably at the most 4 days a week, you are probably also not giving your body a chance to build muscle because your body's never resting and recovering enough.
Yeah.
The more you do, the less you grow. Okay, you have to work and then rest before you can work again. If you're not giving your body rest, if you're not giving your body a chance to recover, you will not see the progress you're looking for. So it's very likely, and this is antithetic to what you would think. And it's very much like nutrition. We get a lot of women that we work with who say you need to eat more if you want to see progress. If you want to break your stall, eat more food. And they go, their brains explode. If you want to break your stall, work out less because you're probably doing too much. Right? It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it's the opposite of a lot of the stuff that you heard. It's not about eat less, move more. In many cases, that has been overdone to the point where it is hurting you. So you need to move less and eat more in a lot of cases.
And move well.
Right. Moving well is always, yes. That's
when you're
always.
moving well and moving weight, his stuff, right?
Yep. So
not just moving to move, like walking all the time.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of trampolines, my personal opinion. It's better than doing nothing, but if you want to actually improve your function, you have to do movements that are functional.
Yeah.
Okay, so
rebounding is great for your health, but not if you're doing it for a workout as your workout.
Right.
That's not the goal of it.
Yeah.
It's good for lymph flow.
Yeah, it's great for lymph flow. Yeah, for sure.
But it's not a
functional
muscle building
movement.
workout.
We don't move around our environment bouncing on a trampoline, right? We move around our environment by squatting and lunging and hinging and pushing things and pulling things and carrying things. Those are the things that you need to be doing because those are the things that will keep you physically independent when you're 90 years old.
And I should mention, since she said hand and leg weights, adding weights to something else that you're doing that's cardio does not make it strength training. So all those classes with little 2-pound, 3-pound, 5-pound dumbbells where you're jumping around doing cardio, it's not weight training just because they put weights in your hands.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Slow, controlled movements.
Weight training.
Good form.
Yeah, weight training is defined by the focus of making the muscles contract. Okay? If you're just holding on to some weights while you're jumping around a room, you're not focusing on any muscle contraction. You're focusing on jumping around the room.
That's not sending
That's not sending a signal to your muscles that they need to get stronger.
Yep.
All right. Okay, then favorite walking shoes.
I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, I have nothing to give you there. I will say my recommendation would be to go to a local shoe store. Some brands, like some national brands, like Roadrunner is a good, like they specialize in runners and walkers and bikers, right?
Fidipides is another one.
Fidipides? Never heard of that.
PH. Starts with a PH. In Georgia, it was a really good one for runners and walkers.
So you can find shoe stores that are specifically focused for walkers and runners. And in a lot of them, like I know Roadrunner in this area, they have like machines you can get on and walk on a treadmill, and they got cameras, and they'll watch your gait and watch how your foot places on the floor and all the different things, and then they can recommend a shoe. So if you can find, and that might even, maybe if not a shoe store, maybe a physical therapist.
Oh yeah.
In your area, it's specifically, especially if it's a physical therapist who is focused on sports and athletes, they might be able to recommend something too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible when it comes to shoes in general for all different things.
I get Reebok Nanos and I'm good.
I
do everything.
Get whatever I find on sale that's cute.
Yeah. For me, guys, the stuff that I do for most of my activity, I use Reebok Nanos, and they work.
I might put Nobles on my birthday gift list.
Well, I like Nobles for just general wear, not for.
I think I might.
I don't think personally.
I've
don't
never been
like
bougie
Nobles
about my sneakers.
I've never liked Nobles for exercise.
No.
Even though they're touted as like the fashion exercise shoe.
Yeah.
I've never liked them for exercise.
Huh.
Nope.
Interesting.
They're not, for me, they're not comfortable for that.
I think that's part of my goals for 2024.
To buy some
become
Nobles?
a sneaker
snob?
A sneaker snob.
We can't have two sneaker snobs. We can't both be sneaker snobs.
Yes, we can. Why not?
All right, I'm going to start doing my socks thing again. I was thinking about it the other day because these stance that I have, guys, check these socks out. I've had these socks. Look at these. Look at these things. But look, I got a hole in them.
Oh my goodness.
I got a hole in them, so I got to replace them.
What are those socks?
They're stance. They're pink zebra. But I love stance. So I was just thinking yesterday when I realized I had a hole in these that I need to put a bunch of stance socks on my wish list.
Oh, okay. Side note, Dana says just what I needed to hear today, Coach. Something we shared.
Something we shared, okay.
Something.
Probably do less. Was that Dana?
Yep.
Dana A?
Yep.
Probably do less. She likes to do more.
These legs, I'm on full swole mode right now. Y'all, that was the other thing I was going to share. I just did my first check-in of the year.
Your first check-in?
Yep.
Your first hour of teasing me by walking around in
my gosh,
bikini and high heels.
It took forever for me to do this check-in because I've only ever done one check-in since we've moved in here. And we have so much light coming from these windows. I know y'all that follow me have seen it, but like, look at that.
She's showing.
You guys
want to see? I got to show you guys too? Okay.
Show them the view.
This is ours. That's our view.
We love the view.
Her little Christmas tree. But there's a lot of light that comes in there.
So much light that it was just washing me out. It just looked like a white blur. And so I was trying all these different places in the apartment to try to find somewhere where I could take this video. So I was just doing my routine over and over and over again. My feet hurt. I was sweating. It was taking forever.
I'm freezing. She turned the heat off.
I was dying.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite. Usually he's hot all the time and I'm cold all the time. So I was like, what the heck? Why did you put the heat on in the middle of my session? So yeah.
Because I like it when you're in a bikini and sweating.
He was making me laugh on one of them too. He was like doing little gestures behind the camera. So you'll see
wholesome gestures, nothing crude or rude.
Of course not. But my takeaway from seeing it, and I haven't even really studied the videos yet, I just like looked at them back so I could see, okay, did I finally get a decent lighting where you can see something? Mm-hmm. But just from the quick glance, I was like, wow, I feel swole.
I kept hearing thick.
So we're at the height of my off season. I am getting ready to do a little mini cut. I've given myself the first couple of weeks of the year just to get into carnivore again and set a new baseline. As of today, I'm at the same weight and body fat percentage that I was before I shifted to carnivore. It shifted a little bit in the first couple of weeks because I was dropping water weight. I think I'm getting the handle on my electrolytes so that my weight is now where it was. So I wanted to wait until I was able to do that until before I start actually cutting. And I also wanted to make sure I was nourished, my hormones were nourished with enough fat before I start cutting. So now I'm getting ready to shift into, I'm about 4 or 5 weeks out to my birthday, about a month out. So I want to do a little birthday mini cut. Nothing crazy, but just get maybe 5 pounds off, something simple. So today was the first check-in, and then I'll be doing regular weekly check-ins again to track my progress toward that goal.
Cool. I got a couple questions. I walk for mental health, need to also build muscle. Should I walk before or after strength training?
Always after.
Always after. If you're going to do them on the same day, do it after. That's the general rule of thumb. If the focus is on building muscle, whatever your focus is, should be the first thing that you're doing, essentially. That's basically the easy way to
building muscle should be first, always.
Yeah. Since that should
That should
always be your
priority.
focus. Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, it's okay to do like a 5-minute walk or something to warm your body up before you start lifting, but not a 20-minute, 30-minute. Like if you're doing a walk.
If you're planning on doing a workout afterwards, do that. Do the walk. Do the walk last.
Yep.
For sure. And that's not a question, just a comment.
Comment. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think we're good. I mean, we went longer than normal. We're at 50 minutes.
We did. So then we'll
try
have
to
to
keep it at
save
30.
our other discussion.
The other discussion. So join us next week when we talk about what is your keto kryptonite.
What foods can you not moderate?
I don't have any. I don't have anything that I can't moderate.
This is the reason why the
This is the reason why we had the topic. We'll talk about it next week. Bye.